who's the informed goalkeeper right now? It's Zack Steffen. One, he has to be because he's playing, right? So that's kind of where I am. But I just wanted to give him some shine because I really like the direction he's going. Zack Steffen last year, when he first got called back into the national team, a lot of it was based on Leagues Cup and his performance in penalty kicks and Leagues Cup. And he just looks a completely different goalkeeper right now that's playing with confidence. You saw him live, so you'd have a better view. I saw the highlights and what he did. And, San Jose, you could kick yourself for losing that match, but it's credit to a guy that stonewalled you the entire game, right, in Zack Steffen. So I'm happy to see his development and the way he's going. If you're being completely fair with who's the hottest goalkeeper right now in this national team pool, for me, it's Zack Steffen. I still think Matt Turner's going to play, but Zack Steffen has really stepped up over the last couple of weeks, and I'm excited to see it. And that's not really like a goalkeeper shout out because I don't always go that route, but I love the direction he's going.
Sure, Tony.
Sure, Tony. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, call it what you want, but
well played.
It's Zack Steffen. It's Zack Steffen who's for me the best of the goalkeepers in form right now.
Tony, I just want to double down on Zack Steffen here because I remember we both watched him earlier and it looked like his knee was maybe ailing him. He couldn't get off his line. Still a great shot stopper, but in terms of all around play, you were left with some questions. After this match, he looked back to being sharp. He's off his line quick, good movement. Do you see him getting back to where he was prior to the move to Manchester City? Do you see him being a real threat now to be the number one?
Well, I actually think that's kind of where I was going. He's back to where he was. I mean, have you seen him play better than he's played now? I remember the Columbus days. Like I remember him going to Man City. He had some moments in Man City, obviously, that stuck out maybe on the negative side, right? Because that's just what you do with goalkeepers. But no, I mean, he looked about as sharp as I've ever seen Zack Steffen this weekend. And I don't think it's a one-off. It's kind of been building towards this. So he's clearly getting more comfortable there. He's got a club that believes in him, and he's playing week in and week out. And this is the product of playing week in and week out, right? Because if you're just stepping in, then that's why the Haji Wright thing is so intriguing to me, right? Because you're kind of just stepping in, and you all of a sudden you score a hat trick, right? It doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, I like the way he's going. That's why I said, if you're just kind of picking on who's the informed goalkeeper right now, it's Zack Steffen. One, he has to be because he's playing, right?
Right.
So that's kind of where I am. But I just wanted to give him some shine because I really like the direction he's going.
So
Jimmy, what'd you see?
Well, I was at the game, and I do want to give a shout out to Patrick Schulte. He had 7 saves for the Crew against San Diego this weekend. He isn't playing badly either, right? And in terms of being in form, you could make an argument for him. But what I really appreciated about Zack Steffen, seeing it in person, was how good his feet are. They built little set pieces. The Rapids built set pieces that if the ball ends up going to Zack Steffen under a little bit of pressure, they had lined up where their striker up top would kind of pick a sideline to go to, or one of their top players would go there. And then Mihailovic or somebody else or Cole Bassett would just wait. He just dropped these teardrops. And I'm not just saying like, he's just hitting it to hit it. This dude is purposely hitting these perfect balls, 50, 60 yards on a dime. They would win that first ball, lay it off to Bassett or Mihailovic, and then they're gone. And I thought San Jose struggled with that. And it's clearly by design because Zack Steffen's got great feet. Now, when you compare that to a Matt Turner who, one, isn't playing and also doesn't have very good feet, I do think there's a real conversation to be had about Zack Steffen starting to really chip away at who is the number one for our player pool because he can provide that. And if he's sharp and can get back to the levels that we know he's capable of, and I thought we saw an incredible display of that with both in kind of in all areas, right? Managing his box, coming off of his line, making timely saves, dropping dimes with his feet, never feeling pressure. I mean, being an asset in so many different things. And he actually was sharp when he was in camp as well. So Pochettino and his staff know what they're getting, and he's only playing as good or better since then. And Matt just isn't playing as much. I wouldn't be surprised if Zack Steffen was starting against Panama. That's my big takeaway. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, honestly. And I think you have to
No,
take
so he
everything into
really impressed you,
consideration.
Jimmy.
I was really impressed.
He
I was
really
impressed.
So, and I go back to Zack Steffen in around the Nations League. Remember the last one, or the first iteration? He couldn't even take goal kicks. Remember, it was like his knee was really bothering him. Yep. And here he is now, like you said, consistent dropping dimes. He's got great technique. Obviously, his time at Manchester City proved to be very valuable in terms of playing with his feet, and that's the only way you get game time, if you can use your feet. So I think that's where he really has a big leg up on Matt Turner.
Jimmy, I don't know if you got a sense, and from when you're evaluating goalkeepers for me and center backs, it's hard to do on television and do it right? Because you don't see how they kind of command the field and how they organize when things are 60 yards away, because they're never in the screen. I don't know if you got a sense of that, but it seems like at least the images that we get, like on corner kicks and restarts deep or anything that he's in the screen, he's gotten to a point where he feels really comfortable giving out instruction. People seem to react to him, but when you're in the stadium, you get a little bit more of that rather than just watching it on TV. I don't know if you got a sense of any of that, but that's what it looks like to me.
Oh, yeah, he's in complete control right now. We've been around long enough. We can see body language. We can see the communication, even though we can't hear it at times. We can see how the players are responding to that type of communication, especially from goalkeeper to your back line. There seemed to be a nice comfort level with regard to how they were trying to play, what they were trying to execute, and how he was commanding and directing traffic in a lot of different ways. Listen, confidence is a hell of a drug. I say it all the time, and Zack Steffen is full of it right now. And that only helps from having game time and obviously having great performances. If he wasn't between the sticks, I don't know if the Colorado Rapids win that game. And I don't know if they're transitioning or having as much success getting past that pressure from San Jose without him having the ability to just hit these teardrops. I'm like, God damn this guy. And I was like, God, honestly, I'm watching like he did it again, and then you start to see the patterns of play that the Rapids are building around it. So fair play to Chris Armas. You think Zack Steffen starts or Matt Turner?
Yeah, that's I think Matt Turner starts. I do. But I think if Zack continues on this path, Matt's going to start to feel a little bit of pressure.